First of all, so I would like to thank you all. I would like to thank Shoshana from the Faces of October 7th organization. This is a non-profit organization. We are all doing it voluntarily. And the reason is that we would like to bring our words to the people all over the United States. So thank you very much for all of you and the organization. On October 7th, Saturday morning, we celebrated in Israel a holiday, a Jewish holiday called Simchat Torah. This is when we are getting the day that we are getting our Torah. So this is when everything started. It was October 7th, Saturday morning. So on October 7th, very early in the morning, Hamas, more than 3,000 terrorists broke the border between us to Gaza. They entered Israel. They knew that we are celebrating a holiday, and most of our soldiers back home with their families celebrating the holiday. The terrorists entered all the army bases that were around Gaza, and they entered all the army bases in Gaza envelope, and they entered all the kibbutzes as well. If you are not familiar with the word kibbutz is a small socialist community village, which in each kibbutz we have somewhere between 500 people to 1,000 people. The Hamas, the terrorists, entered all the kibbutzes as well. In the kibbutzes, there were only civilians. There was not even one soldier or one policeman. And they knew that, and they used it. So they broke the border, entering all the kibbutzim. What I really want to show you that my kibbutz is kibbutz Re'im. It's exactly in the middle of Gaza envelope. After the IDF captured some of the terrorists inside the kibbutz, and they investigate the terrorists, so they asked the terrorists, why many of you came to Re'im? So they told them that Re'im is exactly in the middle of Gaza envelope. They were planned, after they will conquer all the kibbutzes next to Gaza, they will move on to the big cities. So they want to make Re'im as their headquarters, because it's right exactly in the middle of Gaza envelope. Another thing is that Re'im sit on a very important junction in Gaza envelope, where the army and the police try to bring reinforcement into the war, and they knew that. So this is why there was such a big war that took held next to Re'im. So this is how everything started. Well, I moved to Kibbutz Re'im on October 1st. Yeah, imagine that. So next time that you people have bad luck in your life, just remember the Israeli guy that came and he said that he wasn't even for 1 week in Kibbutz Re'im. We moved from another kibbutz in the eastern part of the Negev. We moved to Kibbutz Re'im. About 6:30 a.m. in the morning, we started to hear lots of sirens going on, lots of rockets, lots of Iron Dome missiles. Iron Dome, it's our missiles that we shoot to take down the terrorist rockets. And it was like, it wasn't something normal. It was something else. It was much, much bigger. So I entered my safe room. In each house, I will explain a bit what safe room is. Safe room, it's just another room in our house that have a thicker walls and like heavy door and heavy window pretty much it's supposed to protect you if a rocket fall down next to your house. This is the meaning of safe room. It's not like bomb shelter or something like that. It's just another room at your house. So we entered, me and my kids, and I told my wife, Ayana, well, this is the sign that we have on our door. They put, I told you that we just moved. It means Gal, Ayana, my wife, and our kids, easy on boarding. You will see there is, on the top of it, there is a bullet from AK-47. I will go back to it later. So we entered our safe room. I told my wife that she need to arrange a suitcase. So when things will come down, we will be able to leave the kibbutz and to move to a safer place. And the sirens kept going on. It was very hard to arrange a suitcase, but she did. Around 7:30 a.m., a guy, his name is Nadav. Nadav is in charge of my neighborhood in the kibbutz. For emergency situations, we have in a kibbutz, on every neighborhood, there is one that is in charge of. So Nadav gave me a call, and he asked me how we are and everything is okay. So I told him two things. The first one is that in our safe room, there is a place to put a vent, and there was no vent and there was no lid in the other side of it, so it just was an empty hole. So I told him that we need a lid to cover this hole. Otherwise, like dust and fire, if rockets will fall next to us, it can be dangerous. So Nadav told me that he will take care of it. The second thing is that I asked Nadav if it's possible that we will get out of our safe room and we will leave the kibbutz. Nadav told me that it's not possible. There is a big war out of the kibbutz, and we have to stay in our safe room. The thing is that until then, I didn't knew really what's going on. I heard the shooting, and like my wife, she asked me what I think it is, so I told her that I think it's the IDF shooting terrorist that trying to fire rockets at us. I didn't really knew what's going on. So that was the first time that I knew that there is terrorists out of our kibbutz. There is a big fight going on. And that was the first time that my life was saved. 100%. If Nadav would have told us, you can get out of the kibbutz, that's fine. We would have gone, me and my wife and kids. 100% they would have killed us. After we left, I saw all the car out of the kibbutz. They thought to do the same thing that I did. And they were murdered and their car was burnt and everything. So this is the first time that my life was saved. We stayed in our safe room and we just waited. So how everything started in Kibbutz Reim. Now this is our front gate, our main gate. There is a guy that tried to escape from the terrorist. So he didn't know anyone, so no one opened the gate for him. Now what you will see is Hamas pickup trucks. Each one of them had at least 15 guys, 15 terrorists. They all came to the kibbutz. Yeah, for this guy it was, yeah. It was like the end of him. They murdered him. You can see that there is many pickup trucks moving on the road. You can see how many trucks there were on the junction. They were all was supposed to enter our kibbutz. I want that you will see the Hamas, the terrorists, they were fully equipped with AK-47, PKs, machine guns, RPGs. They had everything with them. They bring everything. They had stretchers, first aid equipment. a lot of water, lots of food. They were planning to stay for a long time, not just for 1 hour or two. So this is how it looks like. That was our first minutes inside the kibbutz. Again, you see this is an RPG, anti-tank missile. There was no tanks in the kibbutz, never was. They just entered like that. You can see that many of the cars stay in the junction above. Many of the Nova festival that took held, there was a big music festival next to us, the Nova festival. Many of the people there tried to escape, and they literally came towards the Hamas. They came to the Hamas. So the Hamas, instead of entering our houses, it was much more easier for them to stay there, and for them it was like shooting ducks in a range, pretty much. All the people that escaped the kibbutzes, all the reinforcement, all the people from the Nova Music Festival, they all came towards them. For them, easy as that. You can see they entered our kibbutz. They threw the body. You saw the black pickup truck. They threw the body of the guy that was there on the forest next to it, and even took his car. So this is how everything was look like. You can see that many of them that were supposed to enter the kibbutz stayed outside. Later, some of them entered as well. This is video footage from our factory. They're looking like that. They're walking like that inside the kibbutz, looking for civilians. In our kibbutz, we had only 6 armed guys from the security team, only with M16. This guy has RPG, anti-tank missile with him. They're just looking for civilians. They knew that there is only civilians, and this is how it looks like. They're just walking now. They're entering, all of them entering the kibbutz. What you will see now, and it will be very fast, it's the first hostages from our kibbutz. You can see them there and there. They're taking the first hostages from the kibbutz. It was 8:14 a.m. War already started inside the kibbutz. On this aerial map, I want that you will see, so they all came, they entered from the main gate, and they all made the way on the road, on this road, all the way to this parking lot. They knew exactly where to go in our kibbutz. They had pictures, they had maps, they had everything with them. So they came, this is where they wanted to establish their sort of a front base in the kibbutz. And each time at least 20, 30 tourists was there, like stay there. This is the place where they plan to bring all their injured. I told you that they had like first aid equipment with them. So it was right over there, right over here on this parking lot. This is my house, about a bit less than 200 feet from there where from the place that they established their front base. This is how it looks like. After we left, Reim, I spoke with one of the guys from the security team. His house is that house over here. His name was Asaf. So I spoke with Asaf, and he asked me, like, do you know, like, he asked, Gal, do you know how my day started? So I asked him how. He said, I opened the door, and I saw 10 people, like 10 tourists lying right next to where I live, about here, with their face towards the road. Instead of entering the kibbutz, they shot RPG missiles, they shot with machine guns on people that moved along the road. So, as I mentioned before, it was much more easier for them to do that. I don't know if you people saw all the photos of the burned cars on the media and everything. It was on the road 232 above the kibbutz. I mentioned before that there was like a very important road that the army tried to bring reinforcement. It was Road 234, and this is where there was such a big war going on. If you people didn't saw the burnt cars photos in the media, you need to Google it. You will understand the amount of cars that was on that road. Now, this is my family. This is Jonathan Akatan. Jonathan Akatan, little Jonathan, he wasn't even 3 years old. My twins, Omer and Rona, and my wife, Ayana, which I'm always saying that she settled down and compromised too fast. She could have done much better than me, but it's her fault. Yeah, it's good for me. I'm not sure that it's good for her, but this is our family. So about 8:15 a.m., we had in our WhatsApp group of the kibbutz, we read a message. The message said that Dvir was murdered. I knew Dvir, and I knew much better his ex-wife. We used to study together. Dvir lives about 300 feet from where I live, something like that. So then Dvir was murdered, and I knew exactly what's going on. And I already knew that there is terrorists inside the kibbutz. And from that moment, I just counted the minutes for my own death. I knew what's going on. I knew that they're going from house to house, clean it from civilians. As I mentioned before, there was only civilians. You could have heard it. You heard the hand grenade, and then you heard AK-47 shots. And you knew it just came towards you. You knew that eventually they will be on your way. You're just counting the minutes for your own death. Simple as that. Nothing else is in your mind. You just know that this is it. Like I said, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm not even a week there. My kids, they're 3 years old, 4 years old, the twins. It's not fair for them. It's not their time to die. So I kept hearing the shooting coming towards us. I was about to collapse. And then my wife told me that I need to show the kids, to give them confidence, so have some water and get up and try to hold the handle. I held the door to bring them confidence. Didn't make any sense to hold it. I'm not that strong. Someone can take my hand down pretty easy. Well, eventually they've been on our house. They came to our house. We start to hear all the shootings hitting my house. We start to hear the screaming, the shouting. They were on our balcony, just like that. Well, I've been in the army. I served in Sayeret Golani as one of the top units that we have in the Israeli army. I've been under fire during my service. I was afraid for my life, but I can guarantee to you guys that to be afraid for your kid's life, it's a whole new level that you cannot even imagine. It's something else. 100% you cannot, it's so stressful. I thought how can I protect them? At that point, I was 100% sure that I'm going to die. I just thought how I'm going to save my kid's life. So my kids, the three of them, they start to scream and shout. They were afraid. Imagine yourself, me and my wife, we were afraid. Even you guys, if you know that this is your last moment in life, you will be afraid. But they start to scream, they start to shout. So we told them that they have to be quiet, so they won't reveal our place, that they won't reveal that there is people inside that house. So the twins understood, they got it, they were quiet. Little Jonathan, he wasn't even 3 years old, he kept shouting and screaming. So my wife took him and put her hands on his mouth. And then she started to cry. And you guys need to understand, we are all next generations for Holocaust survivors. And we have this, we know about this story about the woman that had to strangle her son. So the baby will not reveal where is she because there were Nazis outside. So we grew up on this story, and then my wife, she started to cry. She said it's too much for her and she cannot do that. So I had to put my hands on his mouth, and every 10, 15 seconds I took my hands off so we will be able to breathe. Just like that for a few minutes. This is how it was. So at that point, I knew anyway that I'm going to die. I was only scared for my family, for my wife and my kids. So I knew that there is, like I told you before, that there is a hole in our, where was supposed to be the vent. Pretty much the terrorists, they were out of our safe room. They could have come and just throw a hand grenade inside, and that's it, kill us all. Simple as that. And I just waited for that. I waited to see where the hand grenade is, so I will jump on it. I will lose my life. I was 100% okay with it. As I mentioned before, it was only about my kids. That was simple as that. I knew that I'm going to die anyway. I just try to figure it out how I'm going to save my kids' life. So I knew that I'm going to jump on the grenade. And another thing that I knew, that if they will enter my house, I will get out of the safe room, and maybe that way, and I will surrender. Maybe that way they will kill me or they will kidnap me, but they will not enter the safe room to kill my kid's life. We know that it didn't work very well for another family. It's the Bibas family. The Bibas family, the father surrendered. They took the father, and then they came back to the safe room. They took his wife and his two redheads baby. I don't know if you saw them. They're still there. One of them was 9 months old. So this is pretty much what I had to face. So eventually they tried to open our door. They tried to enter our house, just like the angel of death trying to enter your house. The only thing that separates between me and them is just a simple wooden door that probably all of you can break it with one kick, but they didn't. They just tried to open it. And then when they saw it's locked, so they start to shoot on my front door. There was a window next to my door. They start to shoot on this window as well. Probably they thought that we will surrender, that we will be afraid and surrender, and we will get out to them. But we stayed for the safe room. It was like that. Well, it was a minute, a few minutes, I think. For us, it felt like it's hours. It was like every minute felt like 1 hour and didn't stop. So it was like that. So they gave up and they moved to the next house. My next house, the next house of my neighbor, it's Ben's house. Ben was my neighbor, and he forgot to lock the door in the morning. So they entered his house. They threw a hand grenade to his living room. The hand grenade didn't explode, and that's the reason that they didn't enter his house. They were afraid by their own grenade. We are very good friends, me and Ben. So this is pretty much what saved Ben's family, that there was like a hand grenade that didn't explode. Eventually at 2:30 p.m., after 8 hours, the special forces of our army arrived in the kibbutz. And since that moment, I still heard that there was a big war outside. But I told you before, I can notice the difference between AK-47 bullets to M16 bullets. So I knew that there is big war outside. And I knew that they're still entering some of the houses, but from that point, they're trying to defend themselves because of the army instead of trying to attack civilians. So it was like that for 4 hours. At 6:30 p.m., after 12 hours, finally the army start to move from house to house to check what's going on and who's living. So they entered my house, they broke the door. They entered my house, they checked that everyone's okay, and they moved to Ben's house. And then they came back after 5 minutes, and they told me that Ben doesn't want to get out of his safe room. And they asked me if it's possible that I will go there and call Ben out. So I went to Ben's house, and I called him, Ben, please get out. And he didn't want to. Only after 10 minutes that I tried to convince him, and my wife called his wife, he left the safe room, and I asked him, why it took you so long? So he said that he saw a movie that in other kibbutz, the terrorists took one of the hostages. They put AK-47 on his head and told him, tell everyone that it's safe outside and bring them out of the safe room. And it happened, and he called them out, all the families, and all the families escaped the safe room, and then they shot them. So he was afraid that it's the same. Pretty much there is a gun on my head, and he didn't believe me. He thought that they kidnapped me and they're using me. So this is why he didn't left his safe room. So because of the hand grenade, they had to bring Ben to our safe room. We were like 9 people. The safe room wasn't safe anymore because there was so many bullets, and there was a hole, and we were supposed to go to another safe room. You need to understand that we've been on this safe room. We couldn't, we just had one bottle. Every time, bottle of water, every time I had to crawl to the restroom to fill it up with water, bring it back. We had no food inside. We couldn't go to the kitchen because in the kitchen there is many windows. So I just had some crackers on the table. I bring it to my kids. Me and my wife, we didn't eat, but it was fine. We had just a small trash can where all of us did our needs. We couldn't get out of the safe room, so we did our needs in this trash can. Only at 11 p.m. they moved us. They thought it will be safe. They moved us to another couple house under fire, and then we spent some time with this lovely couple, and they told us how lucky they were because their daughter was supposed to be, she was in the music festival, but she left on Friday night because she had to work on Saturday. So how lucky they are, and how they have so much luck. So we went to sleep at 7, and then at 7 a.m. I went out of the safe room. I had to I make some fast breakfast for my kids and for everyone, and suddenly 2 army officers arrived. And then they asked me if I can please call the couple out of the safe room. So I called them, and just in front of my eyes, they sat on the sofa, and in front of my eyes, they told those couple that their son was murdered on his way to his base. He was recruited to the reserves, and he was killed. You don't want to be there next to parents that hear this news. So this is how it was until 11 p.m., 11 a.m. the day after. So this is my front door. I show you the bullet. This is a hole from hand grenade that they threw. This is how it looks like. I told you about our window. You can see pretty much it just start to shoot from the top, all the way to the bottom, all over the window. This is bullets. I have many of them inside my house. I just took few. This is bullets that hit the wall. One of them even hit the refrigerator. I'm always saying that I don't know which is the company that this refrigerator is, but now they can take the price up because their refrigerator is a bulletproof one, and it's much. They can 100% true fact. It's bulletproof refrigerator. So this is how it looks. I had many of them inside my house. The walls outside. This is from another grenade. This is like bullets. When the army arrived, they had to mark. They need to have their own way to communicate with each other. So they start to spray on each one of the houses their numbers, so they will be able to communicate. The IDF, as I told you, it's just a simple wooden door. There is 3 bullets on the top of the pictures, but the IDF broke our door to enter inside. Well, at some point, the terrorists thought it will be much more easier for them just to burn the kibbutz, literally burn the whole kibbutz. So they start to burn cars and trees and everything. They thought that the smoke will enter. Probably they thought that the smoke will enter our safe room. So either it will strangle us or we will get out of the safe room. So this is how it was. On the top, you can see an RPG anti-tank missile hitting one of our safe room. Later I will show you that video, the video of that room. As I mentioned, it's anti-tank missile to use against civilians. There was no soldiers. On the picture on the bottom, at some point when the army arrived, too many soldiers entered the houses and they were killed in the fight against the terrorists. So the army decided to bring a tank, Merkava tank, you have the Abraham tank, to start shoot cannon shells on our own houses to take down the terrorists. And this is how it looks like when an army tank shooting cannon shells on our own houses and apartments. This is exactly how it looks like. Before I came to the States, I went back to Reim. It was the first time that I visited Reim, my kibbutz, because it was very hard for me. But I knew how important it is that people here in the States and all over the world will knew what was going on inside our kibbutz. It's very important to me to bring the real facts. So we start to walk. This is how the kibbutz looks like. This is what the tank did. There was 2 apartments there, and it took them down. Now we are entering the safe room that got hit by RPG missile. There was 19-year-old guy inside. Well, he was dead. He had no chance. You can see why. This is how it looks like. Unfortunately, he had no chance. And this is how it looks like. This is another house. This is another 2 apartments. I would like to say a few sentences about those apartments. You see, there is 43 and 44. Many of the Nova Music Festival guys escaped the festival and they were managed. They thought that they will be safe inside our kibbutz. So they found 2 apartments. So in apartment 44, 3 women entered and the Hamas discovered it. And the terrorists discovered it. So they raped those 3 women, not by 1 or 2 or 3 guys. by groups of terrorists. How do we know that? There is very nice family that lives very close to them, and they kept hearing the screaming, not like for 5 minutes, for hours. And it was like that. And in the end, they they murdered those women and burned the apartment down. There is evidence. I didn't want to see the evidence. For me, it was too hard to even enter to this apartment. It wasn't for me. But I spoke with the guy that took the pictures. He told me that you don't want to see that. So you see, there is another sticker here. It says Massacre. Like we have in Israel people that if there is bodies or body parts, we have Zaka. They are the ones that taking the bodies away. So, for example, at my house, we had no sticker like that. They are putting those stickers only on apartments that the bodies was burned. The body were burned, and at some of them it was not even bodies. It was just part. So they need to write that it was clean. There is no like bones or teeth or something that left from the guys over there. So only on the burned houses they put this sticker. I entered apartment 43. In apartment 43 there were many guys that escaped the music festival. So there is lots of ash on the floor. My wife, she's the one that took those videos. She didn't want to step on that ash. She was afraid that, you see, there is a place without ash. This is where she stood. Like, they burned the apartment down with people inside. Easy, simple as that. And this is this is how the apartment looks like. This is another apartment. This is one of the oldest trees, olive trees in the kibbutz. It's very symbolic that they burnt it down. You can see that everything was burned. There were people inside. Everything was burned. The only thing that left is the concrete and the aluminum frame. And this is how it looks like. Everything was melted. The toilet, the sink. You see? And there were people inside. Some of them were still alive. And this is how it looks like. This is the safe room. They wanted to make sure that they're even burning the safe room. This is this is a video of the one that took the video is a very good friend of mine, and this is a full house, like a complete house of parents and daughter and son. Well, in this house, they burned the whole house down, and then on our WhatsApp group, there was start to say that Marom's family's house is getting burned, and we need to save them. So the security team, the 6 guys, as I mentioned, only 6 guys, they came to rescue this family under fire, of course. This family they have a daughter that she's 100% disabled. She can only lay down. She cannot even sit. It was very complicated. They took them out of the window. That was the only option. And this is how it looks like. If you're asking me, this is the photos that we took. We left the kibbutz at 1 p.m. after 32 hours. They are the real heroes. They are the real warriors. It's not me or the security team. Well, maybe the security team, yeah, but they behaved well. They were amazing. When you're 3 years old, this is not like what you are supposed to see, but they were amazing. They were awesome. I would like to dedicate this lecture for 2 people. The first one is Roy Levy. Roy Levy was an American citizen. He born here in the United States. His family, they made Aliyah to Israel. Roim was he was my commander in our squad. He was the commander of my squad. The first time that Roy saved my life was during my service. He was the great commander that you can imagine. That was the first time. The second time, as Roy heard that he lives up north. As he heard that there is a big war going on, he left everything and he went as fast as possible to the Gaza envelope. He heard that there is a big war inside Reim, so he entered. It was just him and another 3 soldiers. And they had like very big fight with the terrorists. Well, after a while, Roy was next to this tree, and one of the terrorists escaped one of the houses. He shot 7 bullets towards Roy. 6 of them hit the tree, and the 7th hit Roy in his heart. Roy died there. I'm always saying that he had such a big heart, it wasn't that hard to find it. So I really want to dedicate it to him. The second one is Shauli. Shauli is my wife's cousin. And Shauli already discharged from the army. But as the war began, he insisted to go and fight for his own people, for his people and for his nation. So in Hanukkah it's another Jewish holiday. He had 24 hours just to refresh. So he went back home, and me and my family, we went there to meet him, and like we spoke for a while, me and Shauli. And Shauli said that every time that he feels sad or desperate and is in bad mood, he's thinking about me and my wife and my kids. And this is what gives him the strength to move on. They know that he really has a purpose for doing that. He knows that he is there to protect us, literally, his family. No one else. He knows why he need to do that. So we spoke for a while, and after that we left. Me and my family left. He took my kids, and he hugged them, and he said goodbye. And I went there and I hugged him. And then I told Shauli, please don't be a hero. In Israel, we have heroes only on cemeteries. Don't go there. Don't be one. We need you here with us. Be safe. He told me that I have nothing to worry about. Well, Shauli was a hero. He entered Gaza, and there was a house that they thought that there was terrorists inside. And I'm always saying that, like, people need to understand that we have such a moral army. Instead of sending aircraft bombing this house, they were afraid that maybe there is civilians inside, so they didn't bomb the house. They preferred to send troops. So Shauli and another officer went to this house, and then the house exploded and collapsed on them. The terrorists set up a trap for them, and Shauli died there. He preferred to go by himself, not sending his troops to this house. In Israel, always the officers going in front, not behind. So, yeah, he died there. Well, Shauli's dream was to be a singer. Shauli he went to compete in a reality show we call a Kochav Haba. We call it a Kochav Haba. It's like American Idol here in the States. Shauli went to the first audition with his dusty uniforms and everything. He passed the first audition. and then he went back to fight. And they called him to the next audition, and he said, no, it's now I need to be here with my people, with my soldiers. It's not the right time for dreams. I will save it for later, and I will go back to it later. This is not the right thing to do, so he stayed inside Gaza to fight. Well, that was his first audition. If we can turn that up. I'm sorry. We always sang pretty much kind of predicted his own death, and he's singing about it. Can with his dusty uniform with the audition.
זה מנקה ממני עצב כשנגמר לי האוויר אני בוכה לבד ברכב ואת בוכה בפנים אני רואה אותך נשרפת את מפחדת להסכים שזו לא סתם תקופה חולפת כותב בלילה שיר זה מנקה ממני עצב כשנגמר לי האוויר אני בוכה לבד ברכב לאט הנפיבט צועקת חיי בחושך אני ישן וליבי ער אני נרקומן של אושר כותב בלילה שיר זה מנקה ממני עצב כשנגמר לי האוויר אני בוכה לבד ברכב ואת בוכה בפנים אני רואה אותך נשרפת את מפחדת להסכים שזו לא סתם תקופה חולפת כותב בלילה שיר זה מנקה ממני עצב כשנגמר לי האוויר אני בוכה לבד ברכב
איזה טוב אתה!
This is my kids now. The most important thing is, well, that they are smiling. This is the only thing that is important for me. For me nowadays, it's a bit harder to smile, but it doesn't anymore. About me, it's about those 3 kids and my beautiful wife. This is just a photo that we took. It was Passover. We celebrated the holiday of Passover. We took it before. For me, it's very hard to celebrate holidays. To know that there is people that still there. I'm just not in the mood for that, but again, it's only about them. Pretty much that was me. That was my lecture. I'm here because I'm afraid that people will forget October 7th. I really wanted you people, if each one of you will take even something small from what you just saw here, I will really appreciate it. So thank you very much, all of you, for being here and listening to me. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.